Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Glad you're with us here for the Monday night Premier Cup Series here at the Sim 500 game, the Cook Landscape Group Cup Series on Turn 1 at Dover. Warm-ups getting wrapped up here, and we're getting ready to go flag to flag racing action. 150 laps here at the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware. The season's coming to a wrap here in just a few short weeks. Looking at the point standings, I tell you what, it is a tight one. Kevin DeBrow currently leading the points. Stephen Miles and David Schildhouse sitting second and third. Schildhouse is actually tied with Chad Coleman sitting fourth. We gained 7 spots over the last couple weeks here. So Coleman looking to come out strong again. That was last night's Sunday Night Surge season champion, also looking to make some hay here in the Cup Series. And then it's Tyler Dalton in fifth, Wesley Donaldson, Cody Harris, Justin Fuller, Mark Jorgensen Jr., and Bentley Glisser, your top 10 in points as we get ready to take on race number 31 here tonight at Dover, Delaware. Taking a look at the schedule, we leave here and head off to Phoenix next week for 130 laps in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona, as we get ready to go championship racing here. And I tell you what, it's going to be an interesting time. You're not going to want to miss a single lap of action all up and down the schedule here as the Monday Night Cup Series group schedule begins to conclude here, and they are getting grit up and getting ready to go racing here at Dover. Justin Fuller, Tyler Dalton, Troy Haight, Glenn Campbell, David Schildhouse, your top 5 as they get grit in. Mark Jorgensen, Robert Fieri III, Thomas George, Jason Carlavage, and Cody Harris, your top 10. And then it's Anthony Calisoni going to start 11th, Kevin DeBrown, Randy Yoakum, Jose Gonzalez, Mike Montesi is going to start 15th. And now joining me alongside is the famed Kevin England. Kevin, good evening. And I tell you what, these drivers here at Dover, I've heard a lot of pre-race talk. I've actually talked to a couple drivers. It sounds like tonight could be a little challenging here at the Monster Mile. Maybe we don't have Kevin. I thought we did. Maybe not. All right, well, we will work to get that figured out. Either way, they roll off of pit road and they get ready to go green flag racing. And we've got a couple different storylines and getting that intel collected from a couple drivers. The track is cool, and it's going to be tough to make some passes. Tire wear is going to be a factor. And, man, it's going to be an exciting race, and we're glad you're with us here on Turn 1.
Yeah, not only is this racetrack brutal, so is getting onto the broadcast, but here I am, as if by magic. Yeah, this racetrack is difficult. I heard your question, but sorry, a little microphone problem, but we're sorted out now. These drivers have a tough night ahead of them, man. This place, it just has no space to race when you're on top of each other after the restarts. That's job number 1, is get a clean restart. And then to take care of tires, to take care of the car, to figure out the pit strategy, and to never come off the corner and slam the wall, because it's so easy to do here. Dover Motor Speedway, it is a challenge.
And the green flag is out. We're underway. 150 laps of racing action underway as they come down the backstretch for the first time. Justin Fuller to the lead, free and clear. He got clear of Tyler Dalton, and he set sail. Troy Haight now alongside Glenn Campbell as they work the exit of turn number 4. David Schildhouse is going to settle into 5th. Mark Jorgensen Jr., Thomas George, everybody mostly single filed out here as they work a lap number 2. And Kevin, I think you were spot on with the comments there. It's so easy, especially coming off turn 2 and turn 4, to run out of room here at Dover. And these drivers are going to have to be really mindful of that as the laps tick on and the tire wear becomes a factor.
Yeah, it's funny that this racetrack of all places, you race the racetrack and you're really just looking at the space in front of you, the space behind you, and trying to negotiate a pass if you're not leading, but also to stay out of trouble. And then you have to figure out what lane to choose. Some drivers are going to be down on the bottom as they fall from the top of the straightaway down into the corner. Others are going to run the middle, and yeah, dare I say it, some of them I think may even try to run the high line here tonight, as this place, it's a little bit of a mystery sometimes about the best way to get around it.
Justin Fuller and Tyler Dalton, those two are out on full tilt here early. I was listening to David Schildhouse, and he was a driver none too pleased really tonight with what this was going to transpire into. David felt like we were going to be on the bottom quite a bit here tonight. There was going to be some tire wear, but really nowhere else you could go. And if you were side by side, you could lose up to 4/10 a second, or 4/10 a lap rather, to the traffic behind you. And it's all going to be about the right side tire management. And Justin Fuller and Tyler Dalton, well, those two kind of ripped off and took off about half a second in front of the rest of the group. Troy Hayden is on a roll here. He's going to settle into that third place position. Glenn Campbell sitting fourth, and David Schildhouse in that top five. But I say all that to say that there's going to be some come-and-goers here, but how you negotiate those moves, either forward or backwards, where if you need to, you know you're going to lose some time, you don't want to hold the guy behind you, where do you give that time up, and where you decide to maybe try to attempt a pass, and you got to go where the driver in front of you isn't. This is going to be an interesting challenge for these drivers. Again, as we start to look down the end of this long Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, working lap number 8 here at Justin Fuller has set sail 5/10 over Tyler Dalton, and then Dalton's out 4/10 in front of Troy Hayden. We look a little further back, and that's Anthony Calatoni, Kevin DeBrown, those two up here in cruise control. Everybody mostly single filed out on what this a relatively cool track temp. And this is, again, what some of these drivers expected to see here tonight. They needed clean restarts. I know there's going to be some cautions, but after about 30 laps, we're going to start to see the tire wear come in. And Kevin, I don't know about you, but it seems like some of these drivers were interested in going to Martinsville. At least I heard the scuttlebutt as they wanted to have an opportunity to go short tracking, but Dover was the alternative here.
Yeah, I think Martinsville would have been an exercise in frustration the way this car races there. I do believe that if they had their choice, at least if I were sitting in the seat, this would be the place. And really, this is an interesting racetrack if you like challenges, because you're trying to come in and not scrub the right front off the car on entry to the corner, and then you're going to get down to the apron and try and run it off and get the best run to the straightaway. All of that while chasing the car in front of you, looking for any opportunity to make a pass. And I think you look at someone like Justin Fuller, who has the catbird seat. They all want to be up front. They know how important it is to have clean air at this racetrack, and Justin Fuller right now should have a pretty big smile on his face as he leads the pack here on lap number 12.
Up 4/10 of a second. I'm sure the driver wearing that 51 helmet is certainly smiling underneath it right now. While, Kevin, you were talking, it looked like Kevin DeBrown actually got into a little bit of trouble. Anthony Calatoni got up underneath him, and that actually opened the door for Jose Gonzalez to drive through as well. And so it certainly does look like under green flag conditions, that side-by-side racing is not conducive to being able to hang on to spots, and Kevin Brown fell back to 13th. Chad Coleman is sitting 14th. He's up 3 spots on the night. He's had a really good climb through the points last week after that finish, and after last night's Sunday Night Surge Series champion was crowned. He had a really good night there at Vegas. Now back here at Dover tonight. Then we'll be at Phoenix next week. So Chad Coleman in all sorts of different disciplines getting it done here so far and staying in points contention as the playoffs wind on here. Taking a look with Mark Jorgensen Jr. He's riding 6th at the moment. Another driver looking for would be a very consistent night. He is riding in the tire tracks of David Schildhouse. Let's ride on board here really quick with that number 88 car.
Down the front straightaway, he dives down into the corner. He's right on the back bumper. He's going to go up just a little bit, turn the car down, try and get to the bottom of the apron as he sweeps up, make sure he doesn't connect with the wall. Right now, he's processing what's going on with the car in front of him and the other two cars in front of him. He could see Troy Haight up there, up a little high, and almost stacking up here as they come through. And when he sees Schildhouse open the door, he's going to slide down underneath, try and follow him through the hole. So far, so good. They slide underneath Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell loses 2 positions here. Now, Mark has to be careful not to overdrive the car here, but he's in good company if he follows that 20 car. I think he's going to have a good place to go, as the 20 probably will go to the front here.
Yeah, David Schildhouse, again, I was talking to, or at least listening to prior to the broadcast on the radio, saying how tonight was just, he did not feel very good about what tonight's race was going to turn into, and he knew if he could get a good top 10 qualifying finish, he just needed to ride it out as Troy Haight gets tight on corner entry. Oh, he nearly gets into the side of Mark Jorgensen coming off a 4. But David Schildhouse knew it was going to be, he just needed to be able to manage the right side tires. After about 30 laps, he was seeing high 70s on that right front. So keeping it underneath him is going to be critical. And this track tip, at least during practice, was very cool. So not a lot of grip out there and not a lot of ability to make a ton of passes, but so far Schildhouse up 2 spots with Mark Jorgensen following right in line there, up to 3rd. Look at that tire wear. Justin Fuller last time, his best lap 22.71, last time by a 23.64, so tires already off by about a full second here as they work lap 20. And well, that is certainly going to be the story for this group, as they've got to work 150 laps here. I don't know if we would see them make a complete 2-stop race out of this, but they're going to be wanting tires probably in the next 10 laps or so, and we'll start to see some of those folks slide back through the field, as Troy Haight, as a matter of fact, is already down to 7th and starting to feel the pressure from Cody Harris.
Yeah, watching the 46 car, great qualifying effort here, but in the early going, the car just not to his liking. Looks like it's shoving the nose in the middle of the corner. I'm expecting that he's built a little heat in that right front tire, and it's showing up by speed and the fact that he's lost a lot of it as he slips back to that 7th position, now under attack from Cody Harris in the 95. But right now it looks like Troy just kind of settled in and is searching for a lane. The driver on the move right now, I think, is the 20 of Schildhouse. He still has the 88 right in his tire tracks, but the 2 of them are gaining closely on the 19 of Tyler Dalton, who's starting to slip back a little bit from that 2nd position.
Yeah, this is typical, I would say, Tyler Dalton. He fires off with a ton of speed. Tyler Dalton is always really good for the first 15, 20, 25 laps, but then just has a problem putting the full tire run together, and now you're starting to see he's actually fallen back off of Justin Fuller by about 0.8 of a second, and as Kevin mentioned, is going to start to feel a little bit of pressure here with David Schildhouse, and once that door is open, the 88 of Jorgensen is going to want to follow through fairly quickly. Looking back through the rest of the field, another driver on the move, that is Stephen Miles. He's sitting back there in 19th position, but he qualified the 26th, so that's up 7 spots on the night so far, and along with him and Wesley Donaldson, they're starting their march of 4. Donaldson is in 17th, up 2 spots so far here tonight, but Stephen Miles, a sleeper pick, I would say here. Not a great qualifying effort. I'm actually not sure if he even did put a qualifying lap down, but either way, here tonight, working his way forward at what has been touted as a typically tough track to pass at here tonight, riding about a lane off the bottom all through 3 and 4, and he's going to look underneath Patrick Colby here to pick up that spot again as they roll through 1 and 2. Kevin, it looks like these drivers are going to have their handful throughout all. Oh, we got a car in the wall. That was, no, that's the 50, or sorry, the 91 of Donaldson, and that's going to bring the caution out.
Yeah, the 24 sideways down there in turn number 3. He just got tagged by the number 28 sideways. The 41's down there on the apron. This is a multiple car incident here at Dover to bring out caution number 1 on lap 27. That's how it goes at this racetrack. When one car gets sideways over there, there's not a place to avoid it. And Stephen Miles, who we were just talking about, into the outside fence, quite a bit of damage as he rolls past us here on the front straightaway. And we're under caution for the first time here tonight at Dover.
And that all looked like that was the 24, along with Patrick Colby trying to get that pass completed there and rolled off of turn 2. And things get really tight there for those drivers off of turn number 2, and that will most likely be a spot of contention for a lot of these drivers here tonight. Caution for the first time out on the racetrack, and everybody's going to come down to the attention of their crew led by Justin Fuller. We'll cover the pit stops and talk about the rest of the action on track when we return. You're watching Turn 1. One to go signal for these drivers as they get ready to come back. Green flag racing for the first restart of the night on lap number 31. Jose Gonzalez, Charles Woods, Joe Hudson electing to stay out, and that is going to be an interesting turn of events. How powerful, how good is that clean air going to be, and that track position going to be for these drivers? Well, we're about to test that out as these front three electing to not pit and come down pit road. Then it's Justin Fuller, David Schildhouse, Tyler Dalton, Mark Jorgensen, Will Campbell, Thomas George, and Cody Harris, your top 10.
Yeah, interesting strategy for these cars that stayed out, but I noticed like Joe Hudson was just kind of riding out back there, and maybe he was saving his stuff for this opportunity. If the caution came out early, he would be able to take advantage of the track position he got and still have some decent tires underneath him. As we go back to green, we'll see if that strategy plays out as Gonzalez leads him to turn number 1.
Who was that went real high? That was Charles Woods. Did not get off rolling there, and he went real high. And as they come down the backstretch, Gonzalez is going to stay out. Fuller works by Hudson, and Hudson's in some trouble. Here comes David Schildhouse around on the outside. Those new tires prevailing even when they're cooling. A big wiggle there out of Hudson as Fuller now is going to dive underneath Gonzalez to take that top spot away down there in 1 and 2, and coming down to the backstretch here, back up to speed.
Yeah, these drivers should be concerned as Fuller asserting authority early. I think that car is on rails so far for him, and coming right back to command of the race. He was at the point where he was catching the back of the field at the end of that stint there before the caution came out, which seemed to be the 9 and the 91 and the 8 making connectivity, and then the 28 and the 24 were just secondary collateral in that, as they're 3 wide through the corner there. Got to make hay when the sun is shining there, and there goes the 93, who didn't have a good start we saw earlier, but Kevin DeBrown, coming off a good fortune last week, is looking to see if he can repeat as he's under one of the toughest, or outside one of the toughest contenders in Anthony Calantoni, and they don't want to run side by side for long here, Sean.
No, they don't. They're going to lose a ton of time by doing that, and DeBrown's actually going to let Calatoni go there. I actually saw DeBrown get a little late back to the throttle out of 4 and let the 84 roll forward. That's going to put Calatoni up into the top 10 here. And we go back up front. Justin Fuller already out to half a second lead over David Schildhouse. Mark Jorgensen Jr., though, has not let that 20 car go, hanging about a car length and a half or so as they work down the front stretch. Gonzalez and Tyler Dalton are going to be side by side. Right here where it gets really tight as Dalton's going to squeeze by. Campbell's going to try to do the same. Right there off of 2, and Campbell could not get into the throttle the way he wanted to there, and now that's going to get Thomas George deep on his rearview mirror, and Gonzalez is going to lose at least 3 spots, potentially 4, as Cody Harris now is nowhere to go and all over the back of Thomas George as they roll off into 1.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at this strategy for Gonzalez, and right now it does not look like it is paying dividends. In that context, though, if he can just kind of ride here for a period of time, maybe later he can cash the check when he has a fresh set of tires and everybody else is out. It depends on the complexion of the race, but right now, Speedy Gonzalez not looking like this strategy is paying out for him. He slipped from the lead back here to the 10th position, and he's under assault from the 84 of Anthony Calatoni.
Back up front here and looking at lap times. I don't think it'd shock anybody that Justin Fuller was the slowest out of the top 5 that last time by as he comes across the stripe there again. He's actually the slowest in the top 7. Only Cody Harris a little bit slower than he was. This is what I would imagine the 51 in full tire conservation mode, but that is going to get David Schildhouse right to the bumper, and again he's brought the 88 alongside. Now this is peak Justin Fuller. He will be the first to tell you he does not like this car combination. Not a fan of this style of racing, hates this car, but he has really turned a switch on. About May onwards has just found a ton of pace and a ton of speed, and something's clicked with him, and he's been able to be very smooth on tire wear, and if he can keep the car out of trouble, well, it is everybody else is in trouble on the racetrack, as he has now started to pick that pace back up now at 23:42 for Fuller last time by. And Jorgensen now starting to really get close to the back bumper of that 20 here as they roll off a turn number 4 to conclude lap number 41.
Yeah, as the season marches to conclusion, it's no surprise to see the top 3 cars in speed and performance all season long running 1, 2, 3. Fuller, the Schildhouse number 20, and the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. have been the strongest cars on speed, long run, pace, wins, and other factors. The only one who's kind of missing from this mix is the number 95 of Cody Harris, who's currently sitting in that 7th position, and I think as the race progresses you're going to see him join the fray. But these top 3 drivers who've been stout all season long have served notice here at the championship run that they're going to be a factor, and especially this race here as they're starting to break away from 4th place Tyler Dalton.
Yeah, we take a look. Tyler Dalton is just settled in here and running comparable lap times, not letting that front group get away too far, but he is sitting 1.4 seconds off of Justin Fuller, the leader currently, as they work down the backstretch here. Looking through the rest of the field, it's Troy Haight. Remember, he started up front, had a pretty decent run, and then that car looked to got tight on Mr. Haight in that 46 machine. He is sitting back there in 10th. Jason Carlavage is sitting 11th. Jose Gonzalez, remember, he has not been down pit road just yet, so those tires have started to balance out for him. He has settled into that 12th place position. Kevin DeBrown, Chad Coleman, Bentley Glacier, your top 15. Another driver we've not talked a whole lot about here tonight, Nelson Rivera. He is sitting in that 18th place position, up 10 spots on the night. Joe Hudson's up 11 spots on the evening. He stayed out as well. He had a really fast top of the board lap during practice, but that was early when there was no grip in the track, no rubber built up, but nobody could find that pace for Joe Hudson. So that'll be something to keep in mind as we continue to click off the laps here in a lightning pace, even with that caution nearly approaching a third of the way complete here tonight for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series at Dover.
Yeah, two cars involved in that first incident on lap 27 are running a little bit off the pace. That's the 91 of Wesley Donaldson, the 24 of Stephen Miles. The leader quickly closing down on them. Donaldson up in the outside barrier in turns 1 and 2 as Fuller approaches. The other car suffering significant damage in that first crash. Randy Yoakum has taken it to the house. He is done for the evening. And for the 91 of Wesley Donaldson, if he wants to salvage anything for this race, he needs a caution as he goes one lap down to the 51. And now the 51 is going to slide underneath Stephen Miles and put him a lap down. And then he should have clear racetrack in front of him, as these two are going to struggle while the top cars come and pounce on them as they are damaged quite considerably, especially Donaldson's car. You could see the significant damage to the front and back of that car.
Justin Fuller able to squeeze by those cars, no troubles there. 23.67, while everybody else has started to fall into the 23.7s and beyond. So Fuller is starting to show that conservation mindset that he has been so good at as the rest of the field starts to work by the 91 and the 24 coming out of turn number 4. That's Thomas George just sliding underneath there. He's sitting 7th at the moment. That was about the perfect place to catch him right before the exit there because, again, it gets relatively skinny. The way the car wants to drive up the racetrack, up against the wall naturally, you run out of room really quickly here. So 2 cars is certainly doable on these corner exits, but you were much more comfortable able to make that pass before you get to the end of that corner. Taking a look back here, and it looks like David Schildhouse is trying to find a different line, and Mark Jorgensen Jr. is going to start to close in. Maybe handling conditions starting to change in that 20 Chevrolet of Schildhouse. And I tell you what, Jorgensen has been tight to him pretty much since the start of the race, and Jorgensen's followed him through the field here, Kevin. Maybe another night where we talk to the 88 in a lengthy interview, but right now, he is just sitting there waiting to get by the 20 car.
Yeah, it really looks like Schildhouse is holding him up, and he's looking high, he's looking low, just waiting for that perfect opportunity. But, you know, one of the ways you execute a pass here is stay on the back bumper of the competitor in front of you, but you're going to pick up a little heat in the engine, and I see the 88 has kind of slipped off just a little bit. I don't think it's for lack of speed. I think he might be wanting a little more fresh air on the front of that car, but either that or every once in a while you just kind of miss your mark. You can't quite get the rhythm back, and then you pick it up again and you proceed to go forward. And Schildhouse could have found it, but the two of these two drivers have been on top of each other since the drop of the green flag.
Taking a look a little further back again, smoothed out for pretty much the entire top 10 with the exception of Anthony Calatoni. He has closed in on the 2 and starting to apply a little bit of pressure here. And again, not only can that change the handling characteristics, but it gives you a bit of an advantage. That competitor knows now that everybody's looking in the rear view and knowing that they've got somebody right there on their bumper, that tends to maybe add a level of distraction or otherwise just get that driver flustered up, and they're able to take advantage of it as Calatoni just sitting right there at the tire tracks of Robert Finetti III, sitting in 8th currently. Back up front, Justin Fuller is starting to break away 7/10 now, almost 8/10 of a second out front of David Schildhouse, and Jorgensen's now closed back in within half a car length. And we've seen Schildhouse looking for a little bit of a different line, especially down here of 1 and 2. We'll see if he does it again. And Jorgensen gets off the corner better there, but Schildhouse dives it in and almost diamonding the corner apex there and leaving that bottom exposed. Jorgensen's been starting to poke the nose down there just a little bit. Maybe see if he can drive through and get the fender there and disrupt Schildhouse. And Schildhouse is going to smack the wall coming out of 4, and that's going to allow Jorgensen, again, a little bit more pace here, but just riding right into the tire tracks, waiting to make that move. Meanwhile, Justin Fuller continues to drive away here tonight. Kevin, I don't know if you've had a chance to run a couple laps here, but it seems like this tire combination, this tire and how the track has been playing out over the last week or so, it feels like this has been a tough one to navigate for a lot of these drivers, especially in some of the official races.
Yeah, and as you were pulling away there, the 88 did slide underneath the 20 of David Sheldhouse, complete the pass and pull off. He seems to be doing what he needs to do in order to find speed from the center off. That's really the key to this racetrack. I did run laps here, and I know that it's a razor's edge. You'll drive the car down, and what you're hoping is in the center of the corner, it's going to hook, and drivers will adjust their brake bias to get the car to turn. And if you find that sweet spot, it carves left and then picks up and comes up off the corner. But if you drove it in a little too hard, it'll wash up in the middle and it won't get to turning in the center. And if you drive it too hard coming off, it'll push the nose and go out and smack the wall. It's that perfect balance of entry, turn, and exit that gets you the lap speed here. And right now, it looks like that 88 car has it in spades as he's starting to run down your leader.
Yeah, starting to close in that gap really well here. Was out to nearly a full second now. Justin Fuller down to, we'll call it 7/10, with Jorgensen starting to drive away from Sheldhouse. And Tyler Dalton and Cody Harris, that top five. And pretty decent gaps here from everybody in that top five group. But then the battle starts back here. This is Calatoni sitting 7th. Thomas George, as Calatoni is starting to drive his way up through the field. Again, finding a little bit of a different line, letting that car drift up the corner down there in 1 and 2, and so that he can drive down and off the corner to that back straight. Not a bad night so far for Anthony Calatoni, sitting up 4 spots. Cody Harris up 5 spots. And now that we've got a little bit of a longer green flag run under our hands here, it's about 30-35 laps or so. Let's ride on board. Let's ride on board with the 95. If Cody Harris he works to take a lap or two here at Dover.
Right down on the bottom of the racetrack, climbs up the banking down the front straightaway. He's going to look for a spot here to let off, roll down. Some drivers use a little brake, other drivers use zero brake going down in the corner. He's got the perfect drive off where the car turns down, goes down to the apron, and then comes up and squares up with the fence. And really, it's a rhythm racetrack. You want to try and find that turn down right here and get the car to come off. But if you get in the throttle too quickly, the car will slap off. You'll see some of these drivers, they may not pick up the throttle. He's off throttle right here, rolling, slight throttle, and now he's going to mash it as soon as he straightens out. And you really don't get back into the throttle until you're up straight with the front stretch or back stretch. Drive the track a little bit like you drive Bristol, but in a bigger sense there, Sean.
Yeah, high banked here, especially off in the quarters and the way it dishes in. So that is a great way to compare it, is a much larger Bristol. Bristol being a half mile and Dover being a full mile here. And these laps are clicking by fairly fast. Last time by for our leader of 23.7. So they are getting about a lap and a half in here just about every minute. So we're already working here. Lap number 69 of 150. So closing in on the halfway point is Justin Fuller's going to slide by. I believe that's the 98 there, and put that driver a lap down. That is Charles Woods, as they again are on this little bit longer of a green flag run, closing in here on 40 laps. Kevin, I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Bentley Glaser. He's sitting back there, 15th right now, but he's up 12 spots on the night, and we've seen him really find a little bit more of I would say, a consistent and steady speed. I talked to him last night, Sunday Night's third series, had a nice top 3. Maybe an uptick in pace here for that 36 late in the season.
Yeah, Bentley Glaser has been with us for a long time, won his share of races here and there, and certainly this track seems to be suiting his style as he's just picking him off every once in a while, gets to the back bumper, makes a assertion to get past, and then just rolls underneath and completes the pass. That's one of the key things about this racetrack, is you don't want to run side by side with someone. And so far, every time I've seen Bentley get to the back bumper of a car in front of him, he's able to size him up, get the right entry And there's a knack to that of trying to get down underneath the car in front of you. You want to try and get to him at the end of the straightaway and just outrun him into the corner. And, you know, one thing we've not talked about, it's the concrete surface. This place has different grip levels, and the bumps in this track are just incredible. You really feel them, especially you're going down the back straightaway and you go underneath the bridge. The car kind of bounces through that area. Nobody got through that area better than Jimmie Johnson in the 48, watching him the years and years running this racetrack. And, you know, some of these drivers study the film of what it's like to really run the track and figure out where do you turn in. And especially over there for the entry of turn 3, there's a perfect sweet spot to turn in and carve through the bumps and get the car to land as it goes down into the banking. And right now, it sure looks like Bentley Glazier, who's been having a good night climbing his way through the field, just got this place figured out.
He certainly does. And also another driver, again, continuing his march forward. That's Anthony Calatoni. He's going to squeeze by Glenn Campbell. Almost pulled off that perfect move you talked about there, Kevin. Built the run up down the front stretch and then carved it down to the inside and got by Campbell fairly quickly through the quarter. That's going to put Calatoni up into that 6th place spot here. And as we look around a little bit, Justin Fuller starting to contend with a little bit of lap traffic here. That was Brian Wortman that he just got by. As, again, we start to see this green flag run stretch out just a little bit as Campbell's in trouble. He's losing a couple spots now. That was Robert Ferry III, and then now Jason Karlovac is going to get by. Campbell's going to start to fall in line, and Kevin, this is right about that time in this run where these cars are starting to get a little tighter. The grip's starting to disappear quite a bit. Drivers are probably driving these cars a little harder than they have been, and now Troy Hate's going to get snug behind Glenn Campbell, but things are starting to pick up here.
Yeah, and we've got a couple other oddities going on. Some of the cars that had trouble dropped off and picked up fresh tires. So, for example, right behind your leader is the 41. That is EJ O'Rourke. Currently, EJ is 3 laps down, but on fresh tires, he looks like Superman as he carves the high side here, looking to see if he can get around your leader and go back to 2 laps down. And that just shows you a prime example of how much tires make a difference in this racetrack as EJ slides by the 51, probably the first car that's passed Fuller all night long. And yeah, this is where you're going to start to see the comers and goers, who took care of their stuff and who abused it a little bit. The long run speed is going to show up. And I look back there to that 3rd position. Schildhouse may have said he wasn't very comfortable, but one thing he has in spades often is long run speed, and he's not dropped too far off. In fact, he almost seems like he's closing in or staying in decent contact. Going back to one other car you talked about, the 84 of Anthony Calatoni, he's a Jersey dude, and this is Dover. There's no racetracks in New York or New Jersey, and when we go to the races from this zone, Dover and or Pocono are considered our hometown track. So someone like Anthony has, I'm sure, been to Dover and considers it his home speedway. And you know how it is. You always run just a little bit better, Sean, at your home track.
Yeah, you feel better. You got some folks watching. Well, Calatoni right now running P6 and not looking too shabby in that 84 Talking Giants Chevrolet. Looking a little further back, Glenn Campbell has fallen all the way back to 10th. Jose Gonzalez, Kevin, this is another story. We questioned this move with Jose Gonzalez. He did not come down pit road. As a matter of fact, he's got to be getting pretty close on a fuel number, I'd imagine. But when everybody else came down on lap 28, we questioned, was this the move for him and a couple others to stay out? Well, right now, Jose Gonzalez is looking to parlay that into a solid finish. He's just sitting just outside the top 10th and 11th. With the same tires he started the race with. How much is that going to be a factor of having that extra set of tires in the pits, especially if we get some late race cautions?
Yeah, and this track does tend to show up some late race cautions. You'll get past that mark, and then you'll have a caution, and then every driver is on full court press. And from that standpoint, having fresh tires, as we just saw by the case of EJ O'Rourke, really can help your cause. So I'm not sure if that parlay is going to help for Jose, but I have to say, to your point, running in 11th, that's not a bad we thought he was going to drop through the field. We saw him drop, and then he just kind of stuck and tires evened out. And he's not having a bad run of it here. Well, we'll see how this plays out. I'm looking at the way that this track looks like a conveyor belt right now. There are race cars on every section and every corner, every straightaway of this racetrack as we roll around here at Dover.
Yeah, Fuller starting to run into some pretty serious lap traffic. Looks like Doug Roth here. Patrick Colby's going to be in this group that he catches up to. Jason Pick. Looks like Kevin DeBrown is going to come down pit road. One of the first drivers. He had those newer tires, so DeBrown all of a sudden electing to come down and take 4 in fuel. That'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. While Fuller has worked by, that was Doug Roth, now setting his sail here for Patrick Colby and starting to deal with some of that lap traffic, Kevin, as you mentioned, that clean air not so clean anymore. And while these drivers are not super, they're certainly not the fastest on the track, but you've got to work to get by them. They certainly are not going to just lay over at this point in the race. And, oh, by the way, Mark Jorgensen is closed within 0.4 of a second to the bumper of the 51.
Yeah, play the shark music. Jorgensen is closing in, and he is taking advantage of the slower traffic holding up the 51. We have 13 cars right now not on the lead lap, as that's 13 out of 33 cars. And when we get long green flag runs like this, we were at caution number 1, lap 27. This opens the opportunity for cautions, but it also opens the opportunity for drivers to pit and get on different cycles. So we're just going to have to see how these drivers are working the math, so to speak, and how they'll attack this race. I'm curious, like the 93, if somebody's going to drop to pit road, and one of the marquee cars, the 95, is on pit road right now. Cody Harris going to the attention of his crew.
And it's getting busy up front. Fuller nearly getting into the back there of, oh goodness, I'm not even sure who that was. And wow, Jorgensen just made it 3 wide down there in 1 and 2. And they are really having to work to navigate. And while we saw the 95 come down pit road, we're officially past the halfway point. So I believe that we could see here, that is Cody Harris getting into the fuel window with just 60 to go here at Dover. And, well, it is anybody's ball game at this point on strategy. Now, if you're the driver of the 51, the 88, or even the 20, or the 19 for that matter, you are starting to wonder, should you be coming down pit road? Because we saw how critical those new tires are and how important, how much speed they put up when we saw the 41 unlap himself, at least a single lap around the 51. Not everybody's going to drive that hard still with this long to go, but it's going to be a factor here in how long do we see the 51, the 88, the 20, and now the 84 is moved up to 4th, stay out on track.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those magic 8-ball moments. How far should I drive? There's no real good answer to this, because you think this is a high-risk area where you're going to see a caution. You got slow cars, you got fast cars, you got worn tires, and that mix that could potentially result in some sort of incidental contact and bring out the caution. If you pit and go to pit road as one of the leaders, you could find yourself a lap down in that very quickly, and you go from front runner to trying to claw your back to some sort of respectable. Other factor, maybe the car feels good. There's just no reason to go to pit road. Even though you're not fast, you're making good lap time, and you're going to ride it out. The longer you can go, the less time you'll need to fill the tank, and that could play to your advantage. I don't envy any of these drivers trying to figure out the pit strategy, and I know Briar LaPrade, for example, I think he's the spotter for the 20 car. So 2 minds better than 1. If the 20 car is out and the LaPrade crew chief / spotter is giving him guidance, I'd do what the 20 does.
Yeah, absolutely. A great comment there. But, Kevin, I was just looking at, as we see Jason Karlovash, Troy Haight, Bentley Glaser, Chad Coleman, and others on pit road, I was just looking over at timing and scoring, and Justin Fuller, Mark Jorgensen Jr., and others, even Calatoni and Shieldhouse is, oh, speaking of, there, the 20 car, he's going to come down pit road. So LaPrade calling him down for tires and fuel there. But I was just looking over at timing and scoring right as you were saying that. And the 51, the 88, the 84, the 2, the 19, everybody's lap time started to plateau out a little bit. The 23.6s, Justin Fuller's been running 23.6s here. 23.7s, which he's kind of just stayed there. So that's pretty consistent lap times. Obviously not blistering pace, but it seems to be found a sweet spot in the last 20 or so laps, and that's going to allow him to stay on track just a little bit longer here, I do believe, as now we're starting to see some of those faster cars close in on the bumper of the 51. And now it's now I don't know. I'd start to get a little worried if I was Justin Fuller. Robert Ferry the third now down pit road. Tyler Dalton also to the attention of his crew. We're starting to now only I only show 6 cars left on the lead lap as they were 2 and 3 wide back behind Fuller. He's going to come down pit road and he's going to bring the 88 finally along with him. Kevin and the 84 as well going to make their final stops here tonight at Dover, at least potentially their final stops.
Yeah, and I watched that 51 lock him down going across that line. He slid probably 100 yards past the line, 4 full tires locked up, and I'm wondering if he sped on entry to pit road. But, you know, he went down into turn 1, saw David Shieldhouse down on the apron, and probably realized that they couldn't go any further. Shieldhouse going to gain the advantage with speed on tires and had to come to pit road. Same for the 88. I saw the 20 car look out his window as the 95 streaked by, and that's when he went to pit road. So I don't know if sometimes the visual cues of faster cars makes you want what they have, but it looks like we're going to get through a full green flag cycle here as the 51 sitting on pit road. I believe he's serving some sort of penalty down there.
Yeah, Justin Fuller in the box for an extended period of time here. And what a dominating performance is turning into a minute 10 so far in the box and continuing to climb. That's going to have a drastic effect on tonight's pole sitter. And what I would argue was the race winner favorite here. Error, or maybe an error, causing what could be a victory to be thrown out the window as we saw David Shieldhouse actually work around the 95 here, and he's got to get by Patrick Colby, Stoney Benfield as well, but David Shieldhouse looks like he is going to be our leader once this stops filter through, and well, Kevin, this is going to shake some things up, especially with Justin Fuller out of the picture. That's going to be Cody Harris, Mark Jorgensen Jr. In the top 3. This could be a really interesting run here as we are looking at, about 45 laps to go here?
Yeah, 46 to go now, 45 as they cross the stripe, and the 20 car went in with about 3 or 4 laps advantage over the 88. The 88 now has the pedal to the metal, and to your point, they drove around the 95 and they went around the 41, who signaled how fast the cars could be as the tides have turned. What Mark Jorgensen needs right now as he sees the Shieldhouse car up in front of him is to get around these 2 cars right in front of him, the 17 of Kevin Stone, who's apparently on new tires, and the 95, and he's going to go 3 wide here on the backstretch. He is 3 wide on the entry to turn number 3. He is certainly taking advantage of the grip from those tires as he rolls off. He'd really like to get up to the high side. He wasn't able to clear the 95, but I think he'll get him here. And now we'll see if he has enough pace to run down the 20 of David Shieldhouse. Right now, Stoney Benfield showed your leader, and Patrick Colby, they have yet to come to pit road, but when it cycles through, it'll be the 20, the 88, and the 95 as your top 3.
We got to keep in mind the 88 has 10 lap newer tires than the 95 of Harris. That's why that pass looked a little more aggressive than we've seen all night tonight. That's 10 lap better tires, better Goodyears on that 88 car. As we look back up front, David Shieldhouse now is about 7/10 of a second out front of Jorgensen. We saw Shieldhouse fall off early in the last green flag run, but then stabilize. Jorgensen has got to be thinking about that. He has been following in the tire tracks of that 20 car all night. So definitely has learned some lessons here as he's going to make a brush with a wall coming out of 2. That was a little tight there for Mark Jorgensen. As we talked about, Stoney Benfield has not come down pit road. Last time he was down is lap 28. Same with Patrick Colby. They are our leaders currently. And Kevin, it certainly looks like we're going to cycle through here. Benfield's going to be hoping and praying for a caution, but he doesn't want to be the caution as he is out front and in that 75 car.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Justin Fuller, I have to tell you, what a big hole he's dug himself. He came into this 8th in the point championship, had a decent run last week until the final corner and ended up with a dismal finish that he didn't deserve. And now tonight he's 2 laps down. He's not even in lucky dog contention. He'd be lucky if he can climb out of the 20s. He's currently scored 26 on the marker. And the driver who's dominated the season has seen his championship hopes go completely sideways here at Dover. I'm sure he'll have a good run next week at Phoenix, but this is not what the doctor ordered for the WBD Diecast Toyota.
Yeah, it is certainly a concern here for Justin Fuller. And he doesn't, you don't want to go to any race and have to almost win to get in. That obviously changes pretty much every strategy, and you cannot make any mistakes. But unfortunately, a mistake here at Dover tonight could potentially cost him a really solid finish and what ultimately could turn out is a championship contention. Benfield continues to lead here. Lap number 114, or coming to 114 there of 150. So we are quickly closing in on the final 30 laps here at Dover for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. I'm Sean Fitz, that's Kevin England, and we're happy to be here with us. And speaking of Phoenix, you can find us live right here on Turn 1 next Monday evening, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, where we bring you live coverage of Phoenix for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series and this championship. It is quickly coming to a close. Been a wild second half of the season here, and a lot of fast drivers, a lot of up-and-coming talent, and, well, the excitement's not going to end. We still got a couple weeks, so make sure you do what you need to get connected to Turn 1 so that you can be here and not miss a single lap of action as Patrick Colby finds some action on pit road entrance. He locks him up. He's going to come down pit road. That just leaves Stoney Benfield as the only driver not to rotate through here. But David Schildhouse is quickly closing in on unlapping himself. Only about, oh goodness, we'll call it 20-25 car lengths or so. But the driver that's behind Schildhouse is the one that he's got to worry about. And that's Mark Jorgensen Jr. And Kevin, he's pretty much caught him at this rate. Only about 2 car lengths separate those 2 drivers, and Jorgensen's on his way forward.
Yeah, Jorgensen ran him down from a quarter straightaway back. Now sits at 0.2 of a second here and closing into a car length behind the number 20. There's so much speed in that number 88. We saw it in the first run. And what he has to his advantage is not only does he have speed in the short run with fresher tires, he's going to have speed on the long run. And that 88 looks like he's in the catbird seat. After last week, the 88 came into this, in the hole. He was 9th in points below Justin Fuller. And he needs to have a good night here at Dover to even the game out. And if he can get the win here tonight, that has him sitting pretty going into Phoenix.
It certainly does. And right now, again, as I talked about, he has been following David Schildhouse for the better part of, we'll call it 60 laps or so, 70 laps here tonight. And he knows all the tricks as we see now Stoney Benfield on that 75 car going to come down pit road for his tires in service. Now, keep in mind, he's going to be really quick here, but unfortunately, he's going to lose a ton of time as David Schildhouse, Mark Jorgensen Jr. are going to slide by him here as they roll through turn 3, turn 4. So they're going to put themselves back into the top spots there, and that final green flag cycle is complete here at Dover. What could be the final stops of the night coming to a close here is David Schildhouse leads, Mark Jorgensen, Cody Harris, Robert Ferry III sitting 4th, Anthony Calatoni 5th, Tyler Dalton, Jason Carlavage, Jose Gonzalez, he's up to 8th, and after coming down pit road, lap 89, Troy Haight, Thomas George, your top 10. we look back a little through the field here, and Benfield's going to get back, merging back on track. And Kevin, this is not going to be as bad as I thought it would. He's gonna come out of here back on track on the lead lap and sitting around 20th or so. Not on a lead lap, but still not a bad recovery after leading some laps here.
Yeah, I thought that was a good play on Stoney's part. If there had been a caution, he would have gotten the track position, and here he has brand new, fresh tires to run the last 29 laps, and I think he could parlay this into a decent finish for the evening here. I was looking through the field wondering where the speed is for the 38 of Chad Coleman. He's currently running in the 13th position. He's another driver that could use a solid night here tonight. Comes fourth in championship standings, so he's got a little buffer, but I don't know. I thought the 38 would run a little stronger here tonight, along with Kevin DeBrown, who's running 14th. So some of these drivers who had good fortune last week are a little deeper in the field, and boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be tight from a point championship going into the cutoff round at Phoenix.
Yeah, DeBrown leading in the points right now, but having not the best night of his career, sitting 14th at Dover, and actually looks like Nelson Rivera is going to make that 15th now, as he's going to dive in underneath him as they work down into turn 1 here with 26 laps to go. We go back up front, and Kevin, nothing's really changed up here except that Jorgensen is just pacing Schildhouse at this rate. Oh, big drive off the corner. He's going to put the nose to the inside, and David Schildhouse is going to have to line up or run up the racetrack. But now this is going to put Jorgensen right to the door as it's side by side as they come across the stripe here off into 1.
Yeah, the strength of in that 88 from the center off, and you're going to see it here. Can he clear him? He doesn't. He's got to pinch the car down. This still leaves Schildhouse to the quarter panel. He's going to surge the car in, try and hold him down on exit, and we'll see whether the 88 has enough space to get the run up off the corner. He doesn't. They're literally banging doors at the start-finish line as the 88 drives it in deep. He's going to run the 20 up and then turn down and try and drive off and clear him. Still unable to clear him as we have a side-by-side battle with 24 to go. And this really may play a role as to who's going to win this race tonight.
Yeah, these drivers, they were last down pit road, lap 100 and lap 97 as they get into each other pretty tight there. Off of turn 4. So they have definitely got some wear on these tires, and these lap times are starting to show with this side-by-side racing. They're losing 0.2 a second a lap back there to Cody Harris, and Jorgensen, it looks like he is going to settle back in. A little bit of contact there for a couple laps. I would have almost thought as Schildhouse has got to work around a lap car, that got a little tight as well. That was almost a Saturday night at the short track. It's some street stocks, some beating and banging here. The Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series as the final laps start to close in at Dover, and Mark Jorgensen Jr. falls right back in line and right back into that position that he has been sitting for a lot of laps here. Oh, again, looks like he may have gotten a little tight off the corner, right in the tire tracks of the 20 of David Schildhouse.
We've seen Jorgensen in this position before, where it is so difficult to execute the pass. When you run down on the bottom, you abuse the tires. He needs to settle in. Now what he needs to be careful is not to overachieve coming up off the corner, be slapping the side of the car against the wall, getting loose. You're going to make the tires angry, especially the right rear and the right front, and you won't be able to run them down. And for Schildhouse, that was mastery. He did what he needed to do, which is stay on the quarter panel of the 88, not let him use all of the racetrack on exit, and that is the reason Schildhouse still in command of this race. He had 10 laps better tires, the 88, but he might have used that 10-lap advantage up running side by side. You really abuse the cars on the bottom. For Mark Jorgensen, he just needs to stay calm, stay collected, and just run his laps right now, run him back down, and give him another shot here before this time runs out.
19 coming to 18 laps to go here at Dover, Delaware. The Monster Mile as Jorgensen is going to make another big contact here with the turn 4 wall. Again, needs to cool that right side down a little bit here, but he's going to have a couple more laps to get it done. Meanwhile, we look a little further back. That's Cody Harris He is sitting third right now, and he was loving what he was seeing out the windshield as that side-by-side battle rolled on for lap after lap. That allowed him to catch up 2 or 3 tenths here, and now he is going to have to work around. Oh, goodness, who is that? That is Kevin Stone is a lap down, and Harris is going to squeeze by him and sitting 2.4 seconds off of Jorgensen. And well, Cody did come down pit road lap 89. He has the oldest tires essentially in the entire top 7. So not sure if that's going to net him a top 3 here or not, but certainly an opportunity, especially if those two right out at front continue to battle on. Looking a little further back, Anthony Calatoni is sitting 5th right now, up 6 spots. This is a pretty, I would consider this a banner night for Calatoni, all things considered. Has put himself in the top 10 for most of the evening and just settled in here to the top 5. He is running leader pace in that 84 car, just going to run out of laps to get up there as everybody's having to work through some traffic, as Kevin, I think you said it best. A little bit of a conveyor belt. Cars all over the racetrack on either end here as the laps can, again, continue to click down. I think we're going to come here to 14 to go.
Yeah, and the 88 is lurking one more time. He's closed in to within a car length. He seems to have settled down a little bit and tried to put his nose to the grindstone. So, you know, sometimes when you try to run hard, you run worse lap times. And then if you just slow down, take a deep breath, run a little slower, your times improve. And that seems to be the case for the 88. He's now within a half car length of Schildhaus as Schildhaus lightly brushes the wall off of turn number 4. They got 2 cars out in front of them, which is going to change the wake for the number 20 to run through and could be an advantage for the 88, but a good turn 2 allows them to open the gap to a car length and a half.
Riding on board Mark Jorgensen here again as we come off a turn 4. This is going to be 12 to go, and just listen to him be feathery. He feathers that throttle on exit right down to the bottom of the racetrack. This is where him and Schildhaus has been running most of the night tonight, but he's going to have to find a little bit of pace here somewhere else, or somewhere Schildhaus is not going, and it's likely going to be right here in 3 and 4. We saw Schildhaus run a lane higher many times here tonight, and where Jorgensen's found a little bit of pressure, a little bit of time, and he just needs to mind his P's and Q's and wait until the right moment to make his move, as Schildhaus having to work through some of this lap traffic here with 11 laps to go.
And Schildhaus coming behind Mike Montesi, who's pretty good at this racetrack, and that ain't going to matter because yellow flag is out. We have a caution here on the speedway. Might have been for the 04. I can't really tell. Something going on over there on the entry to turn 3. It's the 2 car, Robert Friery, that's going to draw the caution, I believe. And now, oh my gosh, what do you do?
Oh, I don't know, but it looks like the 95 also got collected in that, and then 17, the 2. That all started pretty much right there off of turn 2. Let's go back and take one more look. It looks like they had got connected. Oh, Benfield? No, that was the 05, I believe. And either way, that's a couple fast cars there, Kevin, involved, and that this is going to shake some things up. Late race caution, and you called it, towards the end of this race here at Dover.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Cody Harris, but the good news for him is he just made a little incidental contact, and this is going to be feeding time at the zoo. I think you have to go for tires, because if you don't, the rest of the field is just flat going to drive around you. See the 2 leaders there almost look like one was towing the other as they went into pit road. Will it be 4 tires, 2 tires? I would take 4 here.
Yeah, I don't think you could get away with 2, especially. Oh, and Schildhaus is going to do it. David Schildhaus take right sides only. That is going to secure the lead, but I got a feeling that's going to put him in some trouble. Everybody behind him took 4. Jorgensen, Tyler Dalton's going to make it off pit road, P3. Jason Karlovaj looks like he took 4. Jose Gonzalez is going to really net here. He's going to move up to a 5th place position. Then Kevin DeBrown looks like he may have been a 2-tire stop, restarting 6th. Troy Haight, Bentley Glaser, Mike Matesi, and Nelson Rivera, your top 10. Well, it's all upside down now. We're going to go back green flag racing here with, oh goodness, let's call it 7 to go. We're going to step aside for one more break. You're watching Turn 1. Pace car lights are off, and Kevin, you just said it. Look who's sitting in that third place position, that second row. That's Tyler Dalton in that 19 car. This is what he is made for. A short run, new tires. We could see him up front here at the end.
Yeah, pole sitter at just about every track during the season, and the highest number of poles of any driver, and basically you're going to run qualifying laps. We saw 2 tires on Schildhouse, both of us shaking our head. He was in even with the 88 as they went to pit road, and the 88 sitting on 4 fresh Goodyears. We'll find out whether that pit strategy for track position was the play, as believe it or not, Tyler Dalton didn't get a great start. It's Schildhouse leading him out of turn 2.
Yeah, Jason Karlovaj able to get around the 19 of Tyler Dalton, but it is going to be full court press here with the final 7 laps to go. Schildhouse out front by about a car length, but I do not think too much into this just yet. They are just getting those tires up to heat. Did Schildhouse save enough of those left sides to be able to only take 2? And is it going to save him from the wrath of the 88? We're going to find out as they come down the backstretch. Off, down into 3 and 4 they go. Right in line with one another. 1, 2, 3. David Schildhouse comes off the corner, and he's going to see the 5 to go sign for the flagman here at Dover.
Yeah, and look back there in that 4th position. They've been running side by side, lap after lap. Kevin DeBrown, your current point leader, is underneath the 19 of Tyler Dalton. They still haven't settled that. Kevin, known for his short run speed, but Tyler is, as we said, the qualifying king, and the 2 of them not settling as 19 gets a piece of the wall out of turn number 4. And don't look now, here comes the 88. He's closing in on the 20 for the win.
Yeah, down 4 laps to go. We're going to backstretch here. David Schildhouse ran the fastest lap of the night, not but just a few moments ago. Last lap by, so still some pace in that 20 car. Does he got enough, though? He's going to come across the stripe. 3 laps to go. A 22.87. Jorgensen a 22.84, but Mark's going to have to find a little bit more time than that before, if he thinks he's going to be able to get the checkered flag here. He has been following this 20 car. He has seen more of the rear bumper of the 20 car than anybody here tonight, and he knows what Schildhouse is capable of. And immense talent as they come back across the stripe. 2 to go. Kevin, I don't know if the 88's got enough time to get there.
Yeah, I think both of us are going to eat crow here. The 2 of them drove off and have jetted from Jason Karlovaj, but that 20 car with 2 tires has shown tremendous speed. You and I talked about left side tire wear as we come underneath the white flag. Apparently, that's not going to be a factor here as David Schildhouse, comfortable lead coming out of turn number 2 as they go around the 95. That's a story in its own. But the 88 is going to have to do a kamikaze move here if he wants to get the win.
I don't see that coming from Jorgensen. Nope, not going to be there. David Schildhouse, skeptical at the start of the night. Victory here at Dover at the end. David Schildhouse, your winner for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. What
incredible
a wild
season for him.
What a wild end of the night here as Jorgensen's going to come alongside. A little bit of a door tap there. It's going to be Karlovaj going to finish 3rd. Kevin DeBrown with a nice recovery. He's going to finish 4th here. Tyler Dalton 5th. Jose Gonzalez Kevin, another driver on that weird pit strategy. He's going to finish 6th tonight. Billy Glazer, Troy Haight, Mike Matesi, Nelson Rivera here top 10. Chad Coleman, a notable, is going to finish 11th. Another notable, Calatoni's going to finish 15th. Justin Fuller is going to recover after that costly mistake on pit road and going to finish 16th here tonight. We're going to step aside and get ready to cover some post-race action here. David Shieldhouse is going to burn it down on the front stretch. You're watching Turn 1. David Shieldhouse continues to burn it down on the front stretch, and we're going to hand it on over to Kevin, who's going to talk to Jason Karlovash, third place finish here at Dover. Kevin?
Yeah, a solid night here for the number 60 car, who kind of worked his way through the field. That was a tremendous amount of work, and here you are, Jason, third on the podium. As it was difficult if you had any chance tonight of chasing the 20 in the 88, but in your own race, a third place finish. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about that. I wasn't going to finish up there, and then that last caution happened. I think I was running 7th or so, and a couple of the guys up towards the front got caught up in that. So that sucks. For them, just I think certain people need to get their heads on straight a little bit. But overall, I mean, shoot, good run for us. Good run for the 6 teams. Speedway Collective, Toyota was great. In dirty air pretty much the whole race, but was able to stick around the top 10, and was just looking to have a pretty okay day there, and just got a couple extra spots at the end. Kevin, I got to say, thanks for bringing me up here first instead of Mark, because he talks so long in his interviews that I don't just sit around and wait, so I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, his reputation for that. I hope you were down there telling him to go a little easy on that smoking hot wife of his, but let me ask you this question. Take us through the driving conditions here tonight. What was the car like at the Speedway here at Dover?
It was kind of a mix of both. It was on cold tires, super loose into 3, so that was something that had me on edge on pretty much every restart. Just trying not to wreck the thing for the first couple laps. And then throughout the run, I would start to get loose on exit, specifically out of 2, and pretty much tight everywhere else. I like a loose race car here where you can work the throttle a little bit more, but here was kind of get the car to turn and just mat it to the floor. So it was overall just tight. Dirty air was tough to work in. It was hard to pass. Pretty much just dive in wherever cars aren't in front of you to get some clean air in the nose to get the car to turn. Otherwise it would just get so tight back there. So it was tough. I didn't really pass that many cars throughout the race, but just some few guys up top, up front there kind of fell off at the end, so was able to pick up a few more.
This place is notorious for wanting to run it loose so that you could slide the car up off the corner and square up on the straightaway. When you're at the real track and watch them come off there and yaw coming through, so I know what you mean by the feel that you wanted to get out of the car. Did you know that David Shieldhouse took 2 tires, and was that ever something you entertained?
No. There in that last run, he took 2?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't consider it. Just with how much the left sides were wearing throughout those long runs, I knew I didn't have the fastest speed. So if I took 2 tires and put myself out front, might have worked. But I felt comfortable on 4 tires there, and I was just surprised I came out 4th, I think, there, and didn't expect to even be up that close. I was just kind of hoping to just salvage a top 10 pretty much. So to finish third was just above expectations, I'd say, coming into this race.
A little bit of luck and a solid effort. Great drive coming into it. And a nice way to end the season, right, is to get top finishes and have your race pay off. Congratulations on that third place. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just give a shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast and 500 for putting this league together. Looking forward to getting another season in next year. And yeah, just got to thank Speedway Collective for being on board all season. New Fantasy NASCAR season's coming around the corner in February. So if you're looking to play some Fantasy NASCAR, we do it Yahoo style from back in the day. It's signups will be open pretty much as soon as this season ends. So yeah, looking forward to getting that going. We're rebuilding the whole site for next season, so that's pretty exciting. And yeah, looking forward to sharing it with everyone.
There he is, driver of the Speedway Collective number 60, Jason Kolarov, your third place finisher here tonight. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Jason. And now let's see if we can hold that Mark Jorgensen back and talk to him about his second place finish.
Oh, this will be interesting. Mark Jorgensen Jr. finishing P2 here tonight at Dover. Mark, we saw you running the tire tracks at the 20 most of the evening and at times able to get around Shieldhouse, but unfortunately not able to do it there towards the end of the race. What happened with the 88 there towards the last 10 laps, especially after that last pit stop?
Oh, man, I tell you what, we're going to get long-winded. We're going to talk about it all, Sean. We're not going to talk about just one little key aspect. We're going to talk about it all. So anyways, hey, son, on Shieldhouse, and boy, I'm in my pitch. I'm seeing him at the front windshield, and I see his jack drop, and he takes off, and I'm hollering, man, he took two. I just knew he was screwed. And when I come out of pits, second to him, I was like, oh, dude, it's game over. But no, man, he knew what was up, man. It was time to pull the belts tight and just lay down some qualifying laps. And I was keeping up right there with him. Like I told him, that last lap going into 3, I drove it really hard into 3, but I figured he was going to do the same thing. I was going to try to maybe touch him a little bit, but what a race, man. We ran here in the spring, right, and Fuller just dominated. He had us covered by several seconds, so I feel like, I kind of learned some things from him that paid off tonight. I was able to keep up with him on that very long green flag run that we had, and man, I felt like I was very conservative coming in the pits, and whenever he made that, I saw him lock up and slow down a tremendous amount, and I just knew that he had made a mistake. And at that point, I just started thinking to myself, like, damn, man, Shieldhouse short pitted me, and I was like, man, I know that I was better than Shieldhouse on like a 75-plus lap run, and man, I got up to him, we started battling, whatever, and I touched him a couple times, but, I wasn't going to wreck him or fence him or anything like that. I think I needed about a quarter car on the exit of 2 to clear him. And like I told him, man, if I would have cleared him, I'd have been gone. I would have checked out. So fun race. I really felt like how things were progressing. I really felt like I was a top 3 car. And man, I tell you what, I'm excited here in a second to go back and look at the points, because I was below that cut line, and this right here is going to help me tremendously. I don't know where we race next week. I don't give a dang, but we're going to enjoy this P2 here at Dover. Like I said, man, I'm always been one of those kind of guys that would wrap the bottom, and I did it year after year after year, and it would just hurt my right front. And then I would watch Fuller last season, this season, how he would start diming in the corner a little bit. And, I started doing the same thing. And I'm telling you, man, I really surprised myself, and I was able to keep pace with him. I really wish that things could have played out to see how it would have ended up with all 3 of us, me, him, and David. But, hey, man, when you're trying to get all you can get, sometimes you're going to cross that line and make a mistake. So we kept it clean all race, and that's all we needed.
Well, Mark, I can tell you that points did just post, and you are sitting 5th in points right now, 17 from the leader. So certainly a 4-slot jump up, and in a decent place going into Phoenix. Any closing thoughts here as we get ready to talk to our winner?
Oh man, I can't wait to lay it down with the smoking hot wife here in a few. Hey man, it wasn't a win, but I tell you what, we're gonna celebrate like it was. You know what I mean, Sean? But No, just all the guys at Sim 500, all the admins for what they do, putting this on week after week after week, taking their own time. Sean, you and Kevin here at Turn One Broadcasting, people watching. Like them, love them, share them, follow them, get the word out. Sean, y'all do amazing shit. I can't wait to go back here in a little bit when I'm cuddled up next to, after we do some extracurricular activity and whatnot, and watch it back. Maybe learn some things to see what I could have done a little bit better. But John Fowler for the amazing paint scheme, Complete Graphics. Anybody out there needing a paint scheme, John Fowler, Complete Graphics, hit him up. He'll help you out. He'll work with you. So the car looked fast. It was fast. Not as fast as that 20. He had it dialed in there them last several laps. But all the guys in Discord, Joey, Joe Hudson, Doug Sigmund, Doug Rod, Brian Wortman, just an amazing group of guys, man. They're calm, they're chill, they're older, they're very respectful, man. When there's green flag racing, everybody shuts the hell up and gives everybody the respect to focus and because I'm telling you, man, these guys are good, man. So you gotta be on it. You make any little mistake, you lose a foot. It takes several laps to get that distance back. So, man, we had some long green flag runs. That's nice. Man, I tell you what, dude, I just did a lot better than a lot of the championship contenders this race, and that's awesome. Hopefully I got like a little bit of a breathing room going to Phoenix. I'm looking forward to that track, and man, I tell you what, how much more time can I take up? Because I don't give two craps about what Shieldhouse has to say. He's gonna say, oh man, I muscled them and whatnot, but we don't give a dang. Everybody wants to know what the 88 got going on.
I don't know if I quite agree with that. My smoking hot wife would want me to get off here as well, Mark. So with that being said, congratulations, P2 here tonight. A decent run into points going into Phoenix, and hopefully we get to talk to you again next week.
Sean, I appreciate it. Take care, homie.
Mark Jorgensen Jr., P2 here tonight at Dover. Kevin, I believe you are going to have our winner here with David Shieldhouse.
Holy cow, Mark got done in 10 minutes?
We played the music off, David, that's how.
You got the hook.
God.
Splash and go. It was flash and go for the graphics car tonight. That 20 car sitting here in Victory Lane after donuts on the front straightaway, Krispy Kreme donuts. Gotta love them. How about that David Shieldhouse guy tonight? 2 tires, snookering him for the win. You just kept it matted out front and came away with the victory. We all wondered how that was going to play, and here you are. Win number, 11, 12? How many is it this season? 11, yes?
I do believe that is number 11, Kevin.
11.
And,
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. No, I could never have. Well, I mean, it feels like it was forever ago that I was sitting at 9 and wondering if I was ever going to win again. So, listen, man, it's been a great season. We all know that. It's been a very blessed season for me. And tonight, I did not expect to be in this situation. I thought Fuller had this thing locked up because clean air is king, and he was eating good at the buffet of clean air tonight. It was like Golden Corral, and he was the only one invited to get a tray. It was unbelievable. But green flag pit stops. It bit me in this race earlier this year, and it bit him this time around. I'm sure he's kicking himself, and that feels bad moment, but at that point, it was just about holding off Jorg. I knew he was going to come get me. He had fresher tires, and sure enough, he did. But I put up probably one of the best defensive efforts I think I've ever put up my entire sim racing career, Kevin. It was incredible. I couldn't have done it without the good coaching and advice from my man, Briar LaPrade, sitting on top of the box, making the pick calls, telling me to get 2 tires there, helping me with the defense against Mark and holding them off. And man, it was a total team effort here tonight for the 20 car. And really glad to come out of this one with a win. It's going to help me breathe a lot easier next week when we go to Phoenix for that final race of the round.
No doubt. And that was a race of inches. Every time he came off, if he would clear you, I think he probably would have set sail. And you kept it just in there enough. And eventually that car running on the bottom is going to yield, I feel like. Every time that situation, if you don't get fenced, the driver on top, if they can stay up there, is going to do it. But with 2 tires, David, when you go back and look at that, you're going to shake your head and wonder how you got it done.
Yeah, I mean the 2-tire call at the end was great. Thankfully, in this next gen car, you can make calls like that. You can do something a little bit different and help yourself out. I didn't know what the guys behind me were going to do. You're sort of a sit and duck, but we all agreed that let's just take 2 and see what happens. It usually works out okay, and if we lose a few spots, so be it. But it was worth the gamble. I didn't have many laps left in it running at that pace. I mean, we're just running flyers every lap. The good was definitely running out of it, and so I didn't have a lot of time left. I'm glad it was that short of a run. If it was 5 laps longer, you're probably talking to Mark in victory lane and not me. But I was going to give him everything I had to fight him again if I had to, because, listen, I love racing with him. We have a lot of respect for one another. We made contact a few times. It was all good. Good hard racing. I'm sure it got both of you out of the seats, and I can't wait to go back and watch how you called it. But, man, that's great momentum. Really, really happy with how this one turned out. I like Dover. It wasn't nice to me the first time, but it was pretty good to me on a return trip. I ain't too mad about that.
You like Dover, do you like Phoenix? That's the question. We go to the cutoff race next week. 8 drivers will advance to the final run to the championship, and you sit on top of the podium after these are not official yet, but right now you are 1 point over Kevin DeBrown and leading the championship one more time. That's got to feel good coming out of this race, heading to the stretch.
Yeah, it always feels good to be as far away from the cut line as possible. I jokingly said after Talladega last week was the lowest in points I've been all season. I don't think I was below second in points at any point, just because of how it went. So being third in points, I think might have been the lowest I was all year. But a lot of confidence coming in there, and to have a good night tonight, to be, I think, plus 32 unofficially to the cut line. Listen, man, that feels good because we only had 33 cars here tonight. I don't know how many we'll get next week. It might be about the same, but it's looking pretty good for us to make that championship 8, and I'm happy about that. Phoenix went well for us last time. Had a shot at the win, and I give Justin Fuller a lot of flack for how that went, and he still feels bad about it. So hopefully we don't have to relive that on our return trip to the desert. But I listen, man, I like Phoenix. I think it's a good track for us, and just go out there and take care of business. We don't have to go out and win again. It'd be great, and I'll definitely give it my best. But when push comes to shove, discretion will be the better part of valor out there. I can tell you that much right now.
Yeah, in the end, you're sitting here in victory lane because you put together the whole race. It didn't look like you were the fastest out of the gate. You were even top 5 car in the second stint, but in the end, you parlayed that pit strategy to get yourself out in the lead at the end where the cautions break or whatever. What was the hardest part of tonight's race? Lap cars, trying to run and get underneath the car in front of you? What did you find the most difficult part of it?
Definitely following fast cars in front of you. Like when I was behind the 51 and the 88, you feel like you're faster than them, but Dirty Air just sort of holds you back. It's like this invisible hand that keeps pushing you away, even though you feel like you're doing all the right things. And that can be very frustrating. It's kind of a mental game at that point to sort of ride through the Dirty Air portion of the run until the tires maybe wear a little bit and you can move around the racetrack like we were doing to get up into that second lane and sort of get that diamond, if you will, through the corners. Lapped cars weren't too bad for me. I know they were a little more problematic for some other guys, and that's unfortunate. But listen, when I was trying to, keep Mark at bay, I had, I think, Montesi in front of me, and it's just maybe if he wasn't slowing me down a whole bunch, it's still a visual distraction. You got somebody in front of you that you still have to look at as you're trying to hit your line and make sure that you keep the nose a little bit lower than him to try and get a little clean air. So I think just keeping your car at the right place every lap is one of the harder aspects of Dover. That's why it makes it a fun place to run, because it is very challenging. And the guys that are good at moving around typically have a lot of success. Tonight, no, I don't think I was the fastest guy. Lucky that Fuller sped on pit road and, got the elbows out and was willing to risk a lot to fight for that win with Jorg. I definitely didn't have to fight him. I didn't have to win this race. But I didn't just want to roll over and hand it to him either. I felt comfortable fighting with him. We have a lot of respect for each other. We race each other really well all the time. And if there's somebody that I'm going to pick out of a lineup, there aren't a lot of them, but Jorg's definitely one of them that I'm going to go wheel to wheel with like that, because I know that it's probably not going to end in tears. So I appreciate him doing everything he could to battle me, and I know he appreciates me doing everything I could to battle him and make it hard and a good, clean, classic battle. We haven't had one of those in a long time. But it was a risk, Kevin. There's no doubt about it. I didn't have to do it. I could have ended up in the fence damaged and lost a lot of spots because of that decision. I'm glad it didn't go that way. Glad we put on a good show, kept it clean, and came out of here with an 11th win on the season, man. That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's great about the Cooks Landscape Cup Series is you guys do run wheel to wheel, and you have the respect for that. And I also like the fact that you parlay what in the sim turns out to be similar to the real life, how to put the car into air to get the best advantage. The real drivers talk about that on a weekly basis, and we see it play out here in the sim. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations, top of the point standings. That's got to feel good going in. All but locked into going to the final championship, and I'm sure you'll be interested to watch who's going to join you in that Elite Eight going to the finale at Homestead Motor Speedway. Go celebrate with your crew, go celebrate with the children, and congratulations on win number 11 of the season. It was hard fought, and you put on an excellent show to get to the victory here at Dover.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Give a big shout out, of course, to Splash to Go Graphics for the beautiful paint scheme, keeping me looking good while I'm battling out here on the racetrack week after week. Everyone at twitch.tv/Schildhouse, the children, got themselves a win tonight. They were on the edge of their seats, man. They were going crazy in chat. They really loved what they saw here tonight. I'm glad I could deliver a big win for them. Big thanks to Cook's Landscape Group, of course, for supporting the series, and you guys at Turn 1 Broadcasting for putting on another great broadcast and covering everything that we're doing here. This one, I cannot wait to go back and watch it, hear y'all call it. And Kevin, it's just nice to talk to you for once. I feel like I always talk to Sean. Nothing against him. Love the guy. But I don't get enough Kevin England in my life. I need more Kevin England in my life. You've been calling races for as long as I've been doing this, I feel like. I got a lot of really good Kevin England memories. And, I just like everything that you're about. And it's nice to... Nothing against you, Sean. It's nice to get a Kevin England interview for once. I'm just going to say that.
I appreciate that. No, I'm sure Sean takes it with all the humility. I remember racing
immensely
you back.
Immensely personal.
Easy now. Yeah. No, I OG, right? David, the years we put in prior to iRacing and other things, it's just fun to keep doing it after all these years. I love it. Love the fact that we're still here having enjoyment out of this.
You and me both, man. I have I'll shut up after this because I'm taking longer than Jorg, but I have a core memory locked away in my brain of, I don't even remember the league, but we were racing at the Brickyard in NASCAR 2003. And I remember Kevin England calling this race, probably with Tim Terry. And Kevin was talking about me putting the, what did he say? The proverbial wood to him or something like that. And it always stuck with me. Just the call that he made. And it just, all these years later, that was probably 20 years ago, Kevin. 20 years ago, I think that was. And I still remember it. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it, man. Like, I love it. There's still a lot of OGs out there. I got nothing but love for all the OGs, and I'm glad that you're still here doing it with us.
David Schildhouse, your winner here tonight at Dover as we close down the ninth to turn it back to Sean Vitz to take us home. And I know he loves you, Sean. We know he loves you.
Love you, Sean.
Love you too, David. David Schildhouse, your winner here tonight at Dover. And I tell you what, a wild night, front to back, left and right. A good show, as always, with the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. As we look ahead, we go to Phoenix, and we narrow up the championship contenders. David Schildhouse, Kevin looks to be in a prime position. Mark Jorgensen does as well, but some of the drivers may be in a little bit of a pickle here. Would be the 51 and a couple others. What do you look to see come out of Phoenix here in just 7 days' time?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a decent recovery from Justin Fuller. I believe he took the wave around and came back to a teens finish when he was running deep in the 20s. And he still sits 7th in points, given his prowess this season. So I don't know that he's in too much trouble, but the two drivers who took a definite hit, Stephen Miles, he's down to 9th in the championship, and Cody Harris is in 12th. We're in jeopardy of losing drivers. Cody Harris, 6 wins on the season, and he's at the bottom of the stack due to that one incident. And that's really all it takes. Where it shines well in some aspects for these drivers, it goes completely south. And Cody Harris, he's got a lot of work to do next week at Phoenix.
He certainly does. And you can find all that racing action right here on Turn 1 next Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, alongside Kevin England and myself. We appreciate you being here on behalf of the League Admins. We'll catch you next time for more racing action. Happy Monday night, everybody. See ya.